going. So let's get started. Hi everybody, this is Rainer and this is my channel Rainierbooks. About 5 weeks ago I made a video where I listed 15 books that I wanted to read until the end of the year of 2020. It started really well with that plan because the first 3 books I really picked them up the week I wanted to pick them up and I tried to read them. I read 2 of them, Idaho by Emily Ruskovich and Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I did not finish Real Life by Brandon Taylor, but then things got complicated. I ended up in a reading slump and things got worse. The surrounding, the world, with all its news came upon me. The American elections, apparently, the stress that it caused, because it's not only an election that is important for America, it's an election that's important for the whole world. It's an election that is important for the whole world, and as you know, my heart is somehow also in the United States of America, with all my friends there, and a country that has sort of, I think influenced us Europeans, in my generation at least, a lot. So things changed, and the TBR changed, and today I want to give an update on my TBR and how is it going to look like over the next coming weeks. This year is short. It's getting shorter and shorter, and there are 6 weeks to go probably from today, which is the 14th of November. In about a month, America is going to elect a new president, because the election was, of course, on November 3, but the real election, the election that is where the people who are going to elect the president, the electorates that Americans have chosen, are going to elect the next president of the United States, is in about a month from now, on December 14. So, and then we have 17 days left, and it's almost Christmas, you know. Thanksgiving is coming in the US. A lot of people celebrate that. We don't celebrate it in Europe. Then we have the time that we call Advent in German, which comes from the Latin word advenire, which means coming, the time of coming. And at the end is, of course, the Christmas of 2020, which will be the strangest Christmas in my life, probably in your life, in many people's lives, of those people who celebrate Christmas. So let's speak about the TBR now. The TBR until the end of the year. If you have seen my weekly wrap-up for week number 46, you have seen that I am reading 4 books parallel right now. 2 nonfiction and 2 fiction books. The fiction book that I'm reading is Richard Ford's A Piece of My Heart, which is his first novel from 1976. It's about Richard Hughes, who's driving cross-country from his dusty desert house in California in pursuit of passion and his ineffable past. He's looking for his cousin Buna, whom he has a very intense sexual, not a relationship, but a sexual desire for, and she for him. So I wonder if they find each other, but it doesn't look good. This reminds me so much, as I might have told you in my weekly wrap-up, of books that Ernest Hemingway has written concerning the language, but it also reminds me a lot of the songs of Bruce Springsteen. And it's no wonder, I think, that Richard Ford has written a review about Bruce Springsteen's autobiography, Born to Run, for the New York Times a couple of years ago. And it also reminds me of another great American author who was both an actor and an author of playwrights, who was a playwright, of course, Sam Shepard, who passed away a couple of years ago, great friend of Patti Smith. And his plays remind me a lot, this book reminds me a lot of Sam Shepard's plays, In Pursuit of the American Dream. I'm reading Amnesty by Aravind Adiga, which I have started. That's this book that I have from the library, a story of an illegal immigrant from Sri Lanka to Australia. I'm reading The Twilight of Democracy by Applebaum, because I think this is an important read now, especially in this time when we don't know how everything ends in the US. This is about the seductive lure of authoritarianism, because you remember 70 million people in the United States have voted for really not so much democracy in the last elections. And they are also falling for the seductive lure of totalitarianism. Something we have to deal with, not only in the United States, but in France, in Germany, in Sweden, in many other countries, especially also in Europe and in Poland, where a lot of that book by Anne Applebaum is situated. And I'm reading another nonfiction book by an American author who has connections not to Poland, but to the Soviet Union or Russia. That is Masha Gessen. They have been born in the United States, and they have been born in the Soviet Union in 1967, and they moved to the United States, moved back to Russia, and moved back to the United States because they have been, Masha Gessen is one of the most prominent critics of Russian President Vladimir Putin. And I now have started, what a sentence is that? I have started reading Masha Gessen's National Book Awarded book, The Future is History, about how totalitarianism regained power in Russia. That's the fourth book. And those four books I really want to finish until the end of the year 2020. I'm not saying in which week, because I think that sort of put a lot of pressure on me. So I keep that open. All the things that I tell you now, I keep open. But those are the books that I want to read until the end of the year. Then I'm in for a buddy read again with my friend Paula from Draw Your Book, whom I read The Great Offshore Grounds by Vanessa Veselka with a few weeks ago. If you remember those 3 great videos in deep conversation. And we start out for another deep conversation about Charles Hughes' National Book Award shortlisted novel, Interior Chinatown. We're going to read that pretty soon, actually. We have a schedule for that. And we're going to discuss that book. And about buddy reads, if any one of you would like to do a buddy read with me, please don't feel shy to contact me. It doesn't matter if you're a booktuber or if you're someone who is regular on BookTube and commenting on my channel and on other channels. We can do a beautiful buddy read if you want with one of those books that I mentioned now, except for Interior Chinatown, or with a book that you might suggest to me. I'm always open for discussions, you know. Let's go with another book that I have decided to read. Yeah, depending on who wins the National Book Award, I decided to put that National Book Award winner on the list of books that I want to read this year. I have them all. I have all the 5 shortlisted books in my possession. One of them is actually from a library that will be on my list, and the other 4 ones are in my property. The winner of the National Book Award will be announced on Wednesday, I think, this next coming week, in week 47. And whoever it is will be on my TBR. That might be Charles Hughes with Interior Chinatown. Then I'm going to read it with Paula, of course. It might be this one here, Ruman Alam, Leave the World Behind. It might be Children's Bible by Lydia Millett. It might be The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Disha Filia. Or it might be Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stuart with another cover on the American edition. I like that British cover better. I like the British cover better than the American cover. So one of those 5 books will be on the list. And Shuggie Bain, I should say, is on the list anyway, because I ordered it from the library and it arrived today. That was the book that I picked up in Frühängen, if you watched my video with a wrap-up of week 46. I picked that one up. And Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stuart, I have 2 weeks on me to read that, so I will try to read it. And another book from the library that I really want to finish until the end of this year, 2020, is a book that I have talked about, I think, in June already. It's a book by an American author who was longlisted for the National Book Award by Megha Majumdar, and it's called A Burning. This is about, as you can see, a train in India, and I think there's a terrorist attack on that train, and this changes the life of 3 people, Jivan, Lovely, and P.T. Sir. are the main characters of that book. It has to do with right-wing populism, with prejudices against ethnic minorities, and a lot of things. A Burning by Megha Majumdar. Many people have raved about this one. This is also on my list for 2020. And finally, The 392 by Ashley Hickson Lovins from England, where I have this beautiful dedication by no one else but the author. That's beautiful. But I'm not Simone. He has written that to Simone. Hope you enjoy the journey with lots of what? With lots of Shoreditch Park love by Ashley, by the author. He has written a book about this, book 392 in London, that is going from one place to the other place, two very different places, and all the characters are bus passengers, and I like the idea. It's not very special, but anyway, it's different from very many usual settings of novels. The 392 is an ode to the lived-in layers and multiplicities of London, though a chorus of voices that thrums with vivid detail, says Charlene Teo, whoever that might be. 392 is on my list as well. So these are the books that I want to finish until the end of 2020 right now. Join me if you want to do a buddy read, if you have one of these books and say, okay, I would like to read this book together with Rainierbooks. Please drop a comment down below and we will get in contact. Or you can private message me on my Instagram, or you can send me a VOXER voice message or a text message on VOXER. So that was my TBR until the end of the year. How many books are you planning to read until the end of the year? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I don't know. Please tell me in your comments below, and please tell me what books you want to read until the year is over. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, which is always important to say. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, because it helps me to grow, to appear more in the algorithms, and it's going to motivate me to do better content than I have done until now. You always have to get better. A very soccer coach has once told me, he's not only telling me that, but he's telling his players that. It's always the question for him that he's asked his players is always, do you want to get one day older or one day better? Everything can get better, so can my channel, so can you, so can I. So thank you very much for watching this again, and don't forget to wear your mask, to keep social distancing. The virus is coming for all of us otherwise, or for your loved ones. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.